Good afternoon. I'm calling this meeting to order. Welcome to the Sedro-Woolley Rotary Club, the best Rotary Club in the universe. And I'll be saying the invocation because no one volunteered. So if we can bow our heads, let's reflect on our blessings and opportunities as Rotarians. Help us review our priorities honestly, sharing with our tangible wealth and intangible riches of knowledge, leadership, and creativity to make our community and world better. And let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then please join in the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And today's song is with Chris again.
Test. There we go. I figured we would do America the Beautiful. So, oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
All right, you may be seated. Thank you, Chris. That was fun. All right, do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Or guests, just visitors?
We have Rachel from the Central Skagit Library.
Welcome, Rachel.
I have Michelle Jones from Kelly Creek as my guest.
Welcome, Michelle. And we have a guest right up here to announce.
A couple months ago, I brought in Shauna. Come on in. A couple months ago, I brought in Shauna and Carrie Helgeson to talk about Cascadia Clubhouse, and she's here as our guest today, and she has a few announcements.
Hi, I just wanted to give you a little update since our visit in April. This is Dottie, and I apologize for her barking. The clapping she thought meant for her to come, and she's only 7 months old. So I think when we were here, I told you that we were getting a therapy dog for our program that works with developmental disabilities. And so here she is, 7 months old. She's still in training, but she goes to work every day and she's awesome. And I think just having the clapping and the noise, it's good training for her, but a little overstimulating. So on your tables, we have the invitation to our very first fundraiser, and it's going to be November 16th. Our anniversary of inception is actually this Saturday, our very first anniversary. So this is our very first fundraiser, and it's having a little slow start. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little panicked, but we got some donations this morning that make me feel a lot better. But I wanted to invite all of you. You kind of were there at the very beginning of our programming, and we've grown since then. We now have 70 participants in our program. And so they come to our program Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Tuesdays for bowling. And so it's every day is nothing but karaoke, bingo, arts, crafts, drama, all the fun stuff that happens when you work with adults with developmental disabilities. But it's so rewarding. So I really hope that you will join us for our event because it's very special to us. On the back of the invitations, the recipe cards are on your table. is where you can zap to buy your tickets or learn more information about it. And I'd like to stay, but I have a dentist appointment. So I have
Hey,
to leave.
Shauna, before you leave, so we really would love to help you get started with your efforts. So we'd like to present you with a check today for $3,500.
There are additional flyers up here by the name badges too. If anybody wants to take one back to their office, hang it up, let their employees know, got friends, anywhere else you want to hang them up too. So please spread the word.
And I also included the link in the email last night that went out. So if you want an easy way to register. Okay, well, that was fun. I love giving away money this year. That's the best thing. And then we have some thank you cards I'd like to read real quick. Our first one is from the principal at Big Lake, and he said he'd like to thank us for our generous donation of $500 to use for the student reading programs and $500 for the music and art program supplies. And he said the students and staff at Big Lake appreciate your generosity. So there's that one. And then President Ruth and Sedro-Woolley Rotary Club, thank you so much for the $3,000 gift to help make our bocce court a reality. We look forward to the day of completion when all community members can have fun playing. Sincerely, Ellen Schweiger and the Sedro-Woolley seniors. And that's right next door. So that's kind of fun too. Now let's move on to club business. I think we had Adrian Santangelo with an announcement.
Thank you. I'll be brief. There is another flyer on your tables for the Skagit Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Services Fall Into Awareness event. It's just a wine and dine. They're looking for some donations to kind of help make their goal. And so if you can come, fantastic. Just scan the QR code and get more information. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. And do we have any other announcements? If not, I'll have Chris Johnston come forward for a new member induction.
Yeah, let me sneak over there, Don. Okay. All right, President Ruth, fellow Rotarians and guests. It is indeed an honor to induct Josh Allen as the newest member of the Sedro-Woolley Rotary Club. The mission of Rotary is to provide service to others, promote high ethical standards, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through its fellowship with business professionals and community leaders. We are not a political organization, but are dedicated to the practice of good citizenship. We are not a charitable organization, but are dedicated to the helping of our fellow man. We are not a religious organization, but are dedicated to the ideals of morality and high ethical standards. We bring together our individual skills, resources, and qualities of leadership to improve the quality of life for people not only in our communities, but also in communities around the world. Josh, you have been chosen for membership into the Rotary Club of Sedro-Woolley because the Rotarians of this club feel that you possess the qualities of leadership in your field, the qualities of personal conduct, the willingness to share those qualities of personal conduct, all directed towards the pursuance of Rotary's mission. It has been said that when a Sedro-Woolley Rotarian is asked to perform, the answer is yes. President Ruth, fellow Rotarians and guests, please join me in welcoming Josh Allen as the newest member of the Rotary Club of Sedro-Woolley. You want something else? All right. And Don, as Josh's sponsor and grandpa, do you want to go ahead and give him this member packet? So in the member packet, you'll have your badge, all kinds of great information there about Rotary, more than what we just talked about this morning. And we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Grandpa.
See you.
You know, we told Josh that if you don't wear your badge, you'll get fined. And the first thing he asked today when he walked in was when he get his badge, because he was a little concerned about getting fined today. So I hope you put that on right away. Yeah. All right. And now we're going to have I hear less than 3-minute talk about why Louis Rique joined Rotary and why he is still a member and how long. Lynn gave a much better explanation about this than I know.
Why I joined Rotary. Let me give you a prerequisite to that. Somewhere around 1981, after I went into business at Skagit Surveyors, Rick Tedrick and I coached Little League. I think it was around that time, wasn't it, Rick? And apparently, I got discovered by John Ward and Hugh Ridgway. So they asked me if I would be willing to sit on a committee, meet every Thursday morning at the Gateway restaurant, which doesn't exist anymore, and meet every Thursday to plan Riverfront Park. And I asked them, well, why do you want me on it? And they said, well, we could use a surveyor and an engineer type. And so I said, okay, I'll do that. And they said, oh, by the way, we'll buy you breakfast every Thursday morning. So after 2 years and Riverfront Park was finally built and done, I guess I was told by Hugh Ridgway and John Ward that I belonged in Rotary. And I said, oh yeah, I think I do. And so the reason I joined was because I could see what Rotary was all about. I knew quite a bit about it before I even became a member in '84. And I could see what they were doing for the community, and I thought it was the thing to do. 3 minutes? Any questions? Any questions? No.
You know, I was a little worried when Lynn told me it was Louis, because I was like, are you sure he can stick to 3 minutes? And look at him. That was amazing. I'm so impressed. Okay, now we're going to move on to our raffle today. Do you need some help, Chris? Can someone pop up and help?
I
Of course you
think
will.
I could get it, actually. We're going to do 4. All right. Let's do four numbers. We have full house today. All right. First number 36. All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. All right. He takes the vodka. I had my eyes on that, you know. All right. The next one is number 7. Spin her in. See what we get. You get beer. I bet you somebody would take it off your hands for you if you don't even want it. All right. Next one up. Oh, okay. I was afraid I was going to get these two mixed up, but I'm not going to. 6. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
See about that.
Hello.
$20
Not bad.
cash. And he's going to put it back in the pot. Thanks, Nick. All right. Last but not least, here we go. We got number 60.
And someone online needs to mute themselves because I
can mute
keep
'em.
hearing someone talking. So please make sure you're on mute. Oh, it's Rich.
$25 Dairy Queen ice cream. Goes with that apple pie real good. All right.
All right, let's move on to Sergeant at Arms and Happy Bucks. Looks like Chris Johnston is.
Yeah, I thought my cohort in crime was going to be here, but I got this.
Thank you.
So we need to fill the coffers a little bit. So we're going to fill the coffers today. And we have a little thing I did a little while ago. So it's been a while. Most of you probably don't remember, but I got in my hot little hands clues to songs and artists. I'm going to read you the song. You got to tell me the artist in the song. If you're right, everybody else pays $1. If you're wrong, your table pays $2. Okay? So be ready. And let's see, I want my new guys. Josh, I think you're the newest guy. You're going to help collect money over on this side of the room. And Todd, I think you're the next newest member. So you're going to help collect money on that side of the room. All right. Okay, here you go. Here are your clues. Okay. Muddy Waters inspired this legendary band. Unclothed Gals, Country Buddies, from Tupelo, Mississippi to Vegas to Memphis. Dollar Signs, King of Pop, ? TV theme songs, This Isn't Sluggish, Rat Pack Delight, One Hit Wonders, or boy bands. Pick one. Tick, 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 or I'll pick one for you. Okay, here you go. From Tupelo to Vegas to Memphis. The warden threw a party in the county jail. The prison band was there, and they began to wail. The band was jumping, and the joint began to swing. There you go. You're right on. So everybody pays $1. All right. So very, very good. All right, gang. What do you guys want? Do you guys remember? You want One Hit Wonders? Oh, you want Country Buddies? All right. All right. I was raised off of rural Route 3. Our paths where the back road ends. We'd walk to church on Sunday morning, race barefoot back to Johnson's fence. That's where I first saw Mary on the roadside picking blueberries. That summer, I turned the corner in my soul. Yes, Brooks and Dunn. What's the song? All right, you guys are $2. Red Dirt Road. All right, gang. Boys bands? Boys bands? What do we got? Okay, well then I'll just give you dollar signs. Oh, I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Jackass, and the song is? Very good. Johnny Cash, I walk the line. Everybody pays $1. Are my collectors collecting? All right, Josh, you're going to be collecting too. All right, keep paying them up. All right, you guys have a choice here? You want TV theme songs?
Hey, Chris, can you hold the microphone up closer? I can hear you, and I think other
Sorry,
people are
sorry.
struggling. It's okay.
All right, here you go. To the TV theme songs. Well, we're moving on up to the east side to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up to the east side, we finally got a piece of the pie. And it's called, oh, there you go. Very good. Okay, $1 from everybody else in the room. All right, here we go. Making dollars everywhere we go. Let's see, I guess this is for Rick and Ruth.
Mhm.
Rick and Ruth.
But our guests are welcome to help us. You just don't have to pay.
All right, you want boy bands or one hit wonder? I'll give you one hit wonder. All right, ready? Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. The love we share seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my light. Where I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. All right. Tainted Love by Soft Cell. All right, you guys are $2. All right, and we got one more for our folks online. Okay. All right, sorry, online people. I've gifted you boy bands. All right, here we go. Oh my God, we're back again. Brothers, sisters, everybody sing. Gonna bring in the flavor, show you how. Got a question for you. Better answer now. And what they got? Okay, Backstreet Boys, but what is the song? Nope. Nope. All right, all of you online, Venmo is an option for you. Go ahead. Everybody. Okay, they got it. Everybody by Backstreet Boys. Okay, one more $1 from the room. All right, there you go. That's all I got today. How about some happy bucks? All right.
All the folks over at the Curlick Historical Association are really happy. We received the Rotary check for our project, and we're up to the highest level on the lengthwise logs on our cabin. So it's coming along. Now we just need to get a roof on it.
All right, very good.
I got a happy $5 for a great fishing guide. I don't know where he's sitting. Where's Louis? There he is. Louis and I went down to the bridge yesterday morning and caught a couple cohos. So thanks, Louis.
Thank you. I actually have a happy 100, a couple of reasons. So I'm going to talk a little while. So first and foremost, my daughter is now at the University of Washington. Everybody can go ahead and say, "Go Dogs." I'll wait. And she's actually yeah, I know. She still loves you, David, I promise. She's adjusting very, very well, which is not always a thing that happens. So we're really, really thankful for that. And I am also, I'm going to announce I have Michelle Jones here. So she's a good guest of mine and a good friend of mine. So if you guys have any questions about what she does, please make sure to talk to her. And otherwise, I know I've missed a couple of meetings, so trying to make up for that. So happy to be back here and there. Thank you.
I've got $11. I'm overjoyed. My family's overjoyed. My nephew, Blake Gurney, proposed to Miss Victoria Darby in Richmond, Virginia last Saturday. We're anticipating a May 2025 wedding out in Virginia, and then some kind of event in the Valley in June before she starts her residency in July. So the family's thrilled. She's just a wonderful young woman, and we're just so happy to see their life start together.
Any other happy bucks? Oh, Louis.
Okay, yesterday morning when Travis said we went down to the river, Travis said something to me like, I never have any luck or I have bad luck catching coho. And I thought, oh no. Well, he proved me wrong in my mind because bingo, he caught one right away. And then a few minutes later, he caught a second one. And so I said, Travis, you laid that myth to rest. $5.
All right, any other happy bucks? Anyone? All right, President
right.
Ruth, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. All right, this is the time for early leavers if we have any, and I hope you've excused yourself with the guest. If not, that's okay. We'll forgive you. Today's program is are these three gentlemen from Glacier Peak Institute, and they're Rankin, Garret Gladsjo, and Scott Rassiter. So I'd like to welcome them up to stage, maybe. Someone ran away. I'm confused.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We appreciate you having us here today. We're representatives of Glacier Peak Institute. My name's Garret Gladsjo. I'm the president of the board of directors. It's a volunteer position. Really excited to share a lot more about what we do for the youth in our rural communities and how we're hoping to spread our program. Have Scott here with me. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, Scott Rossiter, newly with Glacier Peak Institute, just joined in September and loving what we do, the folks we do it with. Had a really fun time last week going out to our garden and being with a first grade class, and I got to be a hydration helper, and it was awesome. Thanks.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rankin, the executive director at Glacier Peak Institute. And I'll be giving our presentation today, getting that started. All right, here we go. I'd also like to thank Senator Wagner for inviting us here today. Happy to speak and inform everybody what we do with GPI. So at Glacier Peak Institute, we're up in Darrington, is where we're based, up in the North Cascades, and we were founded in the wake of the 2014 OSO slide. We're a community's direct response to that, and it was, as many of you know, I'm sure we're all aware of the OSO slide here. Sometimes I speak and people are not. It was a very hard hit to our community. But prior to that, that was the second disaster that happened to our community. The first was the economic collapse and a lot of societal collapse of our community. Over the last 30 years, our poverty has risen by 50%. Special education rates have tripled. Schools have been cut by a third. So there was one disaster followed by another, which we're still feeling the effects of today. And we got together, brought together people that were responding to that slide to try and create a long-term sense of change for that. So you can see here, there's kids working in the greenhouse in partnership with North Cascades National Park. We're getting the kids outdoors and learning skills. So I want to just take a step back. And there is so much expertise and knowledge in this room. I want to set this tone by thinking back to your own childhood and what is your favorite childhood memory? Just you take a breath. And I would ask you to share, but that would take up my whole speaking time. So for many of us, it looks back, it's to the outdoors. It's a lot of who we are as our identity and what that is. For me, I'm riding a horse here in the backyard growing up with my cows in the back. But it was playing in the river right across from the street. And the outdoors is really a key piece of who we are, and especially here in the Northwest where there's so many opportunities. And looking at the outdoors and that past history, we honor the indigenous populations that were here before. They're here currently into the future in the same sense, like how do we live on this landscape as a community in the past, honoring those that came before us, histories, the indigenous, the logging, the farming within these. And what does that mean looking forward to the futures? How do we sustain ourselves? Myself at Glacier Peak Institute. So when the slide happened, I was down in the bottom of the Grand Canyon rafting. And I came off 3 weeks later and came back and to make a difference, to try and create change in my community where we are underserved. Some of the things that I grew up playing in the North Cascades, and then I did all sorts of things. I was a raft guide down in the Southwest. I was teaching kids how to survive, wellness survival skills through outdoor therapy down in Central Oregon, installed seismometers throughout Bolivia, Argentina, Peru, and Wyoming. Was a Fulbright English teacher. And then today I'm running Glacier Peak Institute and I'm raising 2 kids in the same community I grew up in. So thinking about this, for many of us, in this room again, I want to draw out, you have knowledge. I'm somebody who stepped in for the community to serve and try and create change for the future, similar to how many of in Rotary here serve. And you're looking at what do we look towards for the future and how do we create a better community? Today, you have experiences I do not. And I would like to draw on that. If you have opportunities or suggestions, go ahead and write them down. And I would love to get that out of you here today as a chance to share your wisdom with us and knowledge and experience. There was a slide in here that just disappeared. So GPI, who do we serve? We're predominantly in Darrington, in a low-income community, but we also serve the Concrete School District. We serve Colshan Creek down in Mount Vernon, which is a low-income housing area with outdoor programs. We serve the Still-Guamish Tribe, Project Girl, Connect Casino Road. We're serving youth programs from around Snohomish and Skagit counties with supporting them with outdoor programs. And we aim to save lives. Like our programs are, how do we get kids outdoors? What we found is that in the wake of this slide, kids in Darrington were no longer getting outdoors. And a lot of resources and programs don't come and serve our upriver rural communities. In Snohomish County, and I find similar, but better in Skagit County. Snohomish County, a program in Everett can serve 4 or 5 kids in the time it takes them to drive all the way to Darrington and go back. So what we look at is how do we utilize the outdoors as that opportunity builder for our youth to build resilience and grit. We create access. There is lots of barriers of access that I'll go over to later that our youth face, and we have to get through that. And we bridge the urban and rural. We're really doing unique and innovative programs. The barriers that we face, a lot of kids don't have transportation. I'm on the phone with programs here in Mount Vernon, or downriver in Mount Vernon, in Concrete, in Everett, and that's one of the biggest barriers they face. And we provide that transportation to their youth to get outdoors, as well as our own. Materials, finances, gear. A lot of kids in our schools, with the higher poverty, the very low income and that we face, don't have gear to go outdoors despite being surrounded by it. So we provide boots, rain jackets, mountain bikes, work gear to get outdoors, and mentorship. You can have a place to go biking. You can have, gear to go out there, a bike. But if you don't have somebody to teach you how to bike, you're not going to go ahead and be able to go biking. You just kind of crash and fall and burn. So we teach kids how to go out and go biking, as well as how to steward that landscape that they're on and a part of and build trails. So we serve over 750 youth a year. We serve almost 100% of the kids in the Darrington School District. We partner with over 20 other organizations and 500 outings. This is a lot in a small community. And we have a huge impact, as well as we offer workforce development opportunities where there were none before. So what do we focus on? In our upriver schools, there's STEM programs downriver. A lot of times you have a lot of aerospace and computer sciences down here. We don't have those. Oftentimes they don't reach to our upriver communities. And a lot of times those organizations that are there, the timber, the Forest Service, they oftentimes prioritize their programs downriver as well, down on the I-5 corridor. So they don't serve us. But we have the forests available right outside. And it's a great way, that curiosity when you're out and you think about your childhood memories of flipping over rocks or looking at trees and being out there. That is science in itself and out there exploring. And so we foster that, and we work with the school districts with STEM and Washington State science standards to have the youth going out there and learning in the forests. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong button. Direct programming. So we also run after school programming, environmental education, foraging. We're teaching kids how to go out and forage. I'll bring in some mushrooms. I forgot them in my car here that you can see today. We teach kids how to fish. A lot of kids up in Darrington area, as well as our partner programs, have never fished before. And so we're doing their first time fishing. We take them canoeing, rafting, backpacking. We're getting them outdoors and exploring and using the outdoors, not as a barrier, but as an opportunity for them to grow and have community, like this sense of camaraderie you all have here, we build through the outdoors. In all programs, 100% scholarship, all free to all youth. That was a major barrier we found when starting these programs. We serve a number of programs throughout the region that are also face barriers to outdoors, like our upriver communities that are tribal, low-income housing, BIPOC, Latino, and more. And we look at that as an introduction to the outdoors. We come about as culturally humble. What we found in starting this program is that a lot of outdoor programs, environmental education, they oftentimes approach our rural communities as something like logging is bad. You know, it's like, I come from a logging family. It's not really a way that you can approach it. How do you do it in a way of having that conversation? How do we sustain logging for multiple generations? What does logging look like in that aspect? And so we really look at being humble with other cultures as well as we bring them in and learning from them and sharing them what this is this rural community being in the outdoors. Our partners list again, I just ran through these ones as well. The one that I have not mentioned yet is the WSU Military Team Camp Adventure. We also support Washington State University with launching a military camp for teens and active military personnel. And we have expertise in the outdoors. Like a lot of these groups, there's just not an understanding of how to go outdoors, how to shoot a bow, which is a little more technical, but even walking through the woods, there's just a lot of fear. And you think about social media or watching TV, there's like a tiger jumping out of a Douglas fir tree or what have you. A lot of people have this just from our media, a top bias that they don't recognize. And so there's fear in getting in the outdoors that we work with the different groups in our own community in Darrington, as well as with the other groups. So how do you overcome that? And we provide a safety and coaching in how to go outdoors. And we're bridge building. Here in this picture, we're taking youth in both Darrington and Colshan Creek, so upriver, as well as downriver. We're on the tributary of the Skagit, the Sauk River, and having them go down the Skagit for the first time. We also this last year did squid fishing on the docks of Edmonds, and we had youth from the Korean Community Service Center out squid fishing. We had Darrington youth teaching them how to do some fishing, and then we'd taught those kids how to go crabbing off those docks in the past, and they were teaching our kids how to go crabbing. So really, how do you build community across the Puget Sound through this outdoors that we have? Eyeballing the time for y'all. Examples of programming. So how does it work? When we're going out here, first we go ahead and we give kids, instruct them on how to go outdoors. And I'm laughing because they're coming around this corner. And I think 2 weeks ago, they're coming around this corner and we had 2 or 3 kids it's a simple corner, it's banked. They just went straight off the edge. And so teaching them how to lean with their bike and go outdoors. But it's beyond that. Like ultimately, I don't want them to need me to get outdoors. And so we teach them how to maintain their bikes, right? And so not only are they being taught how to get outdoors, we're providing the bikes. Hopefully then they start lawn mowing, doing some other things that I've seen kids do to earn a bike, but they know how to maintain it. Down in the central down here, we have kids looking at bugs that they collected and leaves they collected in a microscope, getting curious about the place they are and understanding and exploring it on their own for independence, for them to go ahead and go outdoors in their own friend groups. But coming back here again, we're talking about, I really like Rotary and your 4 rules. Is it over here? I hadn't seen that before. Rotary truths, 4 truths over there. And just like, is it fair for everyone? In Darrington, 1 in 25 youth die before the age of 30. This is about 2.5 times the national average. This is just one statistics. Like our median household income is 1/3 that of Snohomish counties, a little less than half that of Skagit. There's a lot of struggle in our upriver communities. And that a lot of that comes back into play of just how the economics have worked out over the last 30 years. And this is, I'm going to show one statistics here. It's similar. I hope to have time to develop this for Skagit County and looking at concrete, which I've analyzed, but I haven't created the same chart for. You can see this was a specific program to help rural forest communities since the 1994 Northwest Forest Plan went into effect. And we'll talk to the feds and they'll be like, we passed this bill again, Oak, we're helping Darrington out. Most of that money goes to, this is the dispersal of money. that comes out of that, it gets redivided based on enrollment. So at the same time that, we're struggling for STEM programs that oftentimes serve Everett and Edmonds to come up, and they don't serve Darrington. This money to help us out, despite us being the lowest income, despite us having the highest poverty, free and reduced meal rates, it doesn't really serve us when we're looking forward. And so we're trying to change that through the outdoors. This is the asset we have. How do we use the outdoors to begin investing when these other systems were falling outside of these other systems of investment that are in place? So creating access. One is we create land, river connections with the youth. We're working on developing a park in Darrington and hopefully in Concrete as well, so that the schools can actually access the rivers. There's barriers to that being in place. The city of Seattle owns our waterfront in Darrington and in Concrete. And so how do you start to do that? It's for salmon mitigation, which is great in its sense, but how do you start to develop trails to get the kids down there and do science on the river, or art, or any programs of hiking on the river when they can't get their own trails and access to the river? So we're breaking that down and providing transportation. We provide the materials, the finances, and the gear to get the kids outdoors. We have our own fishing reels and see kids fishing. I'm always untangling fishing gear and line. So if anybody wants to volunteer just untangling fishing line, let me know. And teach them how to go outside and use the outdoors where they're at that they don't have. And we provide rain jackets. Like down here, it's about 40 inches of rain a year. Up in Darrington, we get about 80 inches of rain a year. So it's really important to have good rain gear. Then mentorship and stewardship. How do you go ahead and provide that mentoring of how to raft, how to mountain bike, how to also care for this landscape in your community and have that ethos for the future? So we provide that as well. Finally, I would like to let you all know about our fall breakfast on October 22nd. It'll be in Marysville at the Historical Society. And we use this breakfast to continue our programming and be able to do what we do. In the upriver communities, oftentimes one of our hardest assets to come by, our resources, is capital. And so this provides that, as well as provides community for us to keep going and move forward. If you're interested in sponsoring, you can see we'll hand out some sponsorship opportunities. We have some here. We'll be handing those out. Finally, I'd like to thank you all. I love Rotary. What you all do at Rotary is amazing. My father-in-law is in Rotary. My cousin's in Rotary. I've been to a few of these, and I really want to thank you all for being here. It is an amazing organization. Any questions?
Well, thank you. A lot of what you described here, and this is my first time seeing it, was something that parents did in my generation. And you asked about favorite memories. It would be fishing with my dad and my brother. You mentioned the economics of this. So I feel like today's parents are so busy making a living that they can't do it. And do you feel like that is driving the demand for your services, economic?
I would say yes, that is driving the demand. A portion of it, a portion too that we face upriver is there's oftentimes, there's a lot of differences. A lot of times it's grandparents in the home, raising grandkids. There's been a disconnect with the last generation. It's like so many of us today are just on our phones or on our social media on top of the economics of it, like affording a fishing pole, but then also a lot of people don't know how to fish anymore. And so that's a big barrier, or know where to go fishing. And so that's a huge barrier as well. It's really a collective impact of not only the economics, but also the cultural knowledge and the space, as well as having gear.
Okay, being a local boy, I feel really ignorant asking this question, but how would you define the Glacier Peak region?
Great question. What is the Glacier Peak region? We define it as anywhere really west, so the tributaries that flow on out. And so that's Snohomish and Skagit counties. We're sitting here on Lahars from Glacier Peak. Underneath, when it erupted, these buildings are all built on top of that. And that's most of Skagit and Snohomish County. Thank you.
All right. I didn't get a chance to ask my friend Doug, who I think I saw walk in. Do you have a joke? Oh, yes. They will. Yes. And thank you for the reminder. As appreciation, we'd like to give you each a Rotary keychain.
I'm gonna preface this a little bit by saying the reason I come up here every week is because Rotarians can't say no when Ruth asks me. And I can't disappoint her. It's not my idea. But this joke came from a highly placed Rotarian. And so it's not, I don't get the blame on this one. But a brunette goes into a doctor's office and says that her body hurts whenever she touches it. Impossible, said the doctor. Show me. She takes her finger and presses her elbow and screams in agony. She pushes her knee and screams. She pushes her ankle and screams. And then she touches, everything she touches makes her scream in pain. The doctor says, "You're not really a brunette, are you?" She says, "No, I dyed my hair. I'm a natural blonde." "I thought so." He said, "Your finger's broken."
I can't believe you all don't laugh harder at his jokes. They're amazing. That was my favorite part of Doug's presidency was his jokes. So I'm glad to see him back up behind the podium. All right. Are there any other announcements before we close? Comments? All right. Remember to stack the chairs and put up the tables and help clean up. Thanks.